The weather can be cruel. As if this winter hadn't already wreaked enough havoc, more than 100 people were involved yesterday in a 96-car pileup on a busy highway in Toronto, Canada. Miraculously, no one was killed, but 3 people were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police said the winter driving conditions along busy Highway 400 changed rapidly when yet another cold front brought lots of snow with it. Egypt's arrest of 9 Al Jazeera network journalists has sparked protests across the region. The BBC reports that as the protests began, footage was released of the journalists in court held in a steel cage. The Al Jazeera news organization itself has called for a global day of action. The purpose is to demand the immediate release of the journalists in a case that's generating the worldwide attention of press freedom advocates. Former BBC correspondent Peter Griest is said to be among those jailed. He and 8 other Al Jazeera staffers are being tried on several charges, including aiding the Muslim Brotherhood. Egypt says the Brotherhood is a terrorist organization. 6 others who are said to be journalists are being tried in absentia. Another 11 people also are defendants. Al Jazeera denies the prosecution's claim that the 11 people work for the news network.
Have you heard about the unveiling of the longest aircraft in the world? Well, just such an aircraft has been unveiled at a historic Cardington, England airfield. The great airships of the 1920s flew out of that field. Today, the helium-filled hybrid Airlander airship is making many a headline. Originally developed for the U.S. military, the project was shelved due to budget cuts. But a British company dusted off the plans and brought the project back to life. Plans call for building fleets of the environmentally friendly aircraft for passengers as well as cargo. Chinese police have launched a nationwide crackdown on child trafficking. Police have reportedly arrested around 1,090 people and rescued 380 or more infants in a dragnet targeting 4 online child trafficking rings. According to authorities, the criminals prey on citizens yearning to escape the nation's strict population limits. Those limits make children a commodity. Therefore, child trafficking is widespread in China. Its population control rules have bolstered a traditional bias for sons who are the main supporters of elderly parents and heirs to the family name. But this has led to the abortion or abandonment of girls. In China, about 118 boys are born for every 100 girls.
Adopted people in Ireland have no automatic right to their birth records. Many Irish people adopted as children have no legal right to tracing services which help them locate their biological parents. But public pressure to change all that is growing. The pressure became acute when the Oscar-nominated movie Philomena was released last year. The film tells the moving true story of Philomena Lee, an Irish woman whose son was sold as a toddler by nuns to a U.S. couple. Following a story we told you about yesterday, a just-released Senate report says U.S. law enforcement officials have been slow to collect unpaid U.S. taxes from Swiss bank accounts. That's according to a 2-year investigation by the U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on the Investigations. The subcommittee's 170-page bipartisan report alleges that Swiss banks aided and abetted tax evasion by their U.S. customers. The report uses Credit Suisse, Switzerland's second-largest bank, as a case study. Democratic Senator Carl Levin of Michigan chairs the subcommittee. He says the Justice Department has failed to use the legal tools it used in past tax cases involving Swiss banks. A press release from Levin noted Credit Suisse opened Swiss accounts for over 22,000 U.S. customers with assets that, at their peak, totaled roughly $10 billion to $12 billion, the vast majority of which were hidden from U.S. authorities. Was it proper for a California school official to make students turn their American flag T-shirts inside out during a Cinco de Mayo celebration? The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals believes it was. The court ruled Thursday that Live Oak High School officials were correct in assuming that the T-shirts might inflame the passions of Latino students celebrating the Mexican holiday on May 5th of last year. The court concluded that the perceived risk of racial violence outweighed students' freedom of expression. The high school, located in a San Jose suburb, reportedly has a history of problems between white and Latino students on that holiday.
As an American Indian named Faith Spotted Eagle sees it, building a crude oil pipeline from Canada to the Texas Gulf Coast won't bring much to Indian country besides polluted water. And the Sioux tribal elder from South Dakota is doubtful that Native Americans will ever convince the U.S. government to block the Keystone XL pipeline project. Talking to the press, she said, "There is no way for Native people to say no. There never has been. When you have capitalism, you have to have an underclass, and we're the underclass." Some Keystone opponents may feel defeated now that a State Department study claims the Keystone pipeline would not contribute to global warming. But farmers, ranchers, young activists, and others haven't abandoned their goal of killing what some call the black snake.